Sometimes growth doesn't feel like a celebration. It feels disconnected, isolated, and sometimes even sad. You look around and you realize that while you've been on your reinvention journey, you've left a lot of people, situationships, behaviors, and personal identity behind. The old version of you cannot survive in the new life that you're creating. That is why today I'm about to break down the 7 signs that you've outgrown your old life and how to move forward with power and grace. Oh, honey, I hope you're ready for this episode. If you are, get your pen, get your post-it, get your ambition planner, and let's go. Hello, Ambition Babes. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dion, also known as the Face of Ambition, across all social media platforms as well as wherever you stream your podcast. I help women who are 40 years and over who are on a reinvention journey, who are tired of doing the same old thing the same old way and expecting different results. I create content about self-care, productivity, and leveling up in business. So if that is content that you're consuming right now, I'm so glad that you found this channel, honey. But do not worry, if you are not over the age of 30 and the algorithm gods decided to show you my face, consider me your rich auntie that wants to put you on so that you don't have to experience the same things that I have. And I hate to have to bring this up, but honey, you've been acting a little stingy lately. You've not been sharing my videos with your sister, your best friend, your cousin, or your mama. You are not meant to be on this reinvention journey alone. So make sure that you subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, and don't let me catch you being stingy. So today, I want to break down these 7 signs that you have outgrown your old life. As someone who has reinvented themselves over and over again, I really started considering all of the things that changed in my life every time I decided to reinvent myself. And so I've identified 7 signs that you've outgrown your old life, or you were pretending to be comfortable in your past life, and you're ready to now start standing in your own truth. Sign number 1 is that you feel misaligned in certain friendships. Oh sis, this one's really personal to me because I have lost so many friends on my reinvention journey. So many individuals I felt like were my day ones, so many people that I've known since high school and college, so many individuals that I had planned to grow old with are no longer in my life because as I was growing and as I was reinventing myself, as I was excited about change, growth, they wanted to stay in the same place that we'd always been. They were accustomed to the old Dion that was a little too loud and liked to go out way too often. They were accustomed to the old Dion that loved a little bit of gossip and would tap you in the back and say, bless your heart, while rolling their eyes. But one day I looked around and I realized that my friendship circle was extremely small. When my conversation started feeling really surface level and I was no longer interested in the dysfunction, the drama, or the gossip, our friendship had no foundation. And because it wasn't built on anything, it easily crumbled. Girl, while you're on this reinvention journey, you're going to feel yourself shift. You're going to feel things in your life change. You're going to want something more than what you've always done and who you've always been. And then there were some individuals who were only supposed to go a certain amount of distance with you while you were on your journey. The hardest part is when that is your sister, your mama, your best friend, or even your partner. You find yourself not aligned with the individuals that you claimed were the closest people in your life. Every time you pick up the phone, she starts the conversation with, girl, let me tell you. And you just feel uncomfortable. You don't want to hear the gossip. You don't want to know their business. You don't want to sit on the phone and talk about what somebody else should be doing with their life when it has absolutely nothing to do with you. And you know you're not sitting here trying to troubleshoot for them so that you can tell them how to get out of the drama that they're in. You're just sitting up talking about their life like, girl, they should do that. They could do this. It wouldn't be me. If you find yourself no longer aligned with your friendships, this is the number 1 sign that you have outgrown the woman that you used to be. So here's what you need to do. You need to start by auditing your circle. Look at the individuals in your circle who are life drainers and who are expanders. When I did this little exercise, I realized that I had a certain group of women that I could always depend on to level me up. It could be in large things. It could be in the smallest ways that they just speak so positively over their life. They may be going through it. They may be struggling, but they are solution-based as opposed to just dwelling on the problem. Or it could be in massive ways where I am encouraged and inspired by their life. They're always planning ahead. They're looking forward to something exciting. Even when they do have problems, setbacks, and failures, they're excited to see how that failure is actually going to work out for their good. But when you're doing this audit and you realize that it is someone in your life that you cannot just discard, like your sister, your mama, or your partner, this is a time where you have to create emotional boundaries as opposed to burning bridges. Now, I'm not going to get in your business and tell you to stop talking to your mama, but there are ways that you can create boundaries around your conversations where you can find a way to be able to mutually respect each other and still maintain the relationship. If you have ever watched any of my videos, you should already know that I'm going to mention cliquish. Because if you are ready to level up emotionally, physically, spiritually, and financially, then you need to surround yourself with like-minded women who are on the same path. who want to support each other, who want to celebrate your wins, and encourage you every step of the way. You definitely have to click the link in my description to learn more about Clickish and find the accountability community that is going to help you to reach your most ambitious goals. Sign number 2 is that you have a sense that something else is emerging. God has blessed us with this feeling inside of our body that something new is about to happen. Have you ever woken up and been like, I don't know why I'm so excited, but I just feel like something good is about to happen? Like whatever situation I'm in, it's about to come to a close and good things are on the horizon. If you have a sense that something is coming, believe it. This is a sign that you are changing, that you are no longer the old version of yourself. If you feel like you're on the precipice of a change, it's time to start building the routines and habits to support the woman that you're becoming. Absolutely nothing would be worse than for you to miss your opportunity. When I was growing up, I used to always think of opportunity as a train, but this wasn't a train that stopped. It was a train that only slowed down, and it slowed down just enough for you to be able to grab onto the rail and hold on. But you had to know the train was coming. You had to be prepared for what side of the tracks the train was going to arrive on. You had to train and get the running start, and you had to be strong enough in order to pull yourself up on the rail. If you feel like something is about to happen, it's probably because it is. So it is incumbent upon you right now to get ready to become her. Get ready now to become the business owner, the content creator, the singer, the author, the educator. Absolutely nothing is holding you back from becoming the woman of your dreams except for you. It's because you don't have a plan for her. It's because you're not ready for that proverbial train to pull into the station. You might not be her yet, but you can feel her rising up inside of you. So nurture her. Build habits around the woman that is going to support your future self. Start speaking to yourself like the woman that already has the job. Start getting up in the morning and training like the person that's going to win the marathon. Start saving money aside like the woman that's going to take her family on a dream vacation. Start saving the money aside to start getting out of the financial debt that you have said that you were going to eliminate this year. Start looking at the houses. Start preparing to be his wife. Start calling yourself MD, PhD, MBA, ED right now, and do it all without fear. Do you know that the words do not fear appear 365 times in the Bible? And I know that God allowed that to happen on purpose. Why? Because we need to be reminded every single day that God has not given us a spirit of fear. If you feel like something is about to happen, believe it. Don't be afraid of what's next. Pull your sleeves up and prepare to become the woman that God has told you that you were meant to be. Sign number 3 is that you start thinking differently and moving differently. This happens a lot whenever you're ready to start your new business or side hustle. Your ideas, your goals, your ambitions, your boundaries are starting to shift, and you're finding yourself not shrinking to fit in. Nothing is sexier than watching a woman start moving differently when she starts getting serious about the dreams and plans that she has for herself. You've seen yourself or you've seen another woman do it. Something happens in the way she carries herself, her self-discipline, her confidence. She knows this is her season and she starts acting like it. The telltale sign that you have outgrown yourself is when you start thinking differently, when you start future planning, when you start writing down your plans and your goals, whenever you take every single goal and you start putting action items to how you're going to achieve it, when your podcast change and the history on your YouTube content starts shifting a little, you start wanting to know more about finance, you start listening to more educational content, you understand the importance of being motivated and empowered and encouraged every single day. You're getting up a little bit earlier. You're starting to read. Your thought process is changing with or without your permission. You start turning into your mama and saying things like, you know what, we got food at home, because you start thinking about the money that you could save if you started prioritizing your priorities. When you start thinking and talking differently, it can be very alarming. You'll even find yourself saying, who do you think you are? But do not be alarmed, sis. You are just starting to walk into your purpose. You are showing up as the woman God intended you to be. You may not have ever met her before, but do not dismiss it. Lean into that verbiage. Stand proud with that new posture and start taking note that you are becoming her. Sign number 4 is that you are no longer comfortable in the same old spaces. What used to feel like so much fun and a vibe becomes way too loud and starts draining your energy. You find yourself starting to crave depth and peace and purpose, as opposed to turning up every single weekend. Now, I am not trying to say that you have not outgrown your old life just because you enjoy going to the lounge every once in a while, but that is instantly what comes to my mind whenever I think about the fact that you no longer like the spaces that you're in. Sometimes when you've outgrown your old life, you find yourself not liking spaces that are a little harder to leave, like church. You feel as if you've spiritually outgrown the church that you've grown up in. You're not being fed anymore. You don't really like serving any longer. You're going through the actions of attending a certain church whenever you know there is a major disconnect. This can even show up at your job, your gym, or in your neighborhood. You used to love going to this gym, but now it gives you the ick. Everyone's so creative. Everyone is so cliquish. You feel like you don't fit in. You're not really trying to slam down weights and yell and grunt. You keep looking at those Pilates princesses and you start thinking, golly, if Tracy Ellis's body could look like that, she does Pilates every day. Perhaps I should give it a try. You start looking at your neighborhood and you just feel like you don't belong there anymore. And the moment you sit at that desk at work, you know that there has got to be more. You know the places and spaces that you no longer feel comfortable in. And it may be difficult to disconnect from those spaces, but I want to encourage you to create or find a new environment that better aligns with your values, with the person that you're becoming or the person that you want to be. Sign number 5 is that you are grieving your old self. Even though you no longer desire to act like your old self, it kind of feels sad and you feel a sense of loss. You see your friends going out, smoking hookah and staying out all night, turning up, looking cute. And even though there's a part of you that wants to do it, it just feels inauthentic. It's just not you anymore. And that can feel like a loss. Instead, you're at the house studying for your LSAT or creating a business plan. It's something that you're really passionate about, but when you compare both lives, a little bit of FOMO sneaks in. You truly miss the comforts of your old life, even though it no longer fits. But I want to encourage you to let yourself grieve without guilt. It is so difficult to see all of my old friends yachting together, going on Euro trips, or renting out a villa in some exotic space. But if those friends no longer aligned with me, if I know that I'm meant to be doing something more at this time, if the spaces and the places that they're in do not align with the woman that I am, with the woman that I'm becoming, then it is okay to say goodbye with love. What I've done when I found myself in this sad space was I wrote myself a love letter. And I wrote this letter to say goodbye to my old life and made sure that I was okay with leaving that life behind. Because I want to encourage you to check yourself. Just because you're changing, just because you're leveling up, just because you're on a reinvention journey, doesn't mean that you have to divorce everything from your past all at once. There's some things that just happen over time. Make sure that it feels natural to you. But if it does, write a letter and release it. Allow yourself to grieve the woman that you were. She served you well, or maybe not, but it's who you chose to be. It's all that you knew. And when you knew better, you did better. When you felt inspired to do something else, you did it. And who's to say you won't go back? But be compassionate with yourself. Write this letter with grace and bless her for surviving. Sign number 6 is that you crave stillness and not stimulation. I consider this a sign that you're entering your soft girl era. You want solitude, not small talk. Stillness and silence doesn't scare you anymore. It's actually healing to you. If you find yourself identifying with sign number 6, I want you to start leaning into these stillness vibes. Take time and journal, pray, and meditate. Because prayer is the time that we get to talk to God, but meditation is the time that we get to listen. When I've gone through my stillness and solitude season, this is the time that I really enjoy redecorating my home. I change the lighting, I buy new pillows. I want to make my environment conducive to the way that I feel right now. I don't need things that are overstimulating. I really need to sit in stillness, be more mindful, and heal my nervous system. During this season, I enjoy reading, creating my vision boards, decluttering my mind and my home. I'm practicing more patience with myself. I'm taking my girl on hot girl walks. And I'm not talking about no little walk. I'm talking about 10 to 15,000 steps. This is the time that I'm finally getting in that bathtub with some Epsom salt. I'm finding sanctuary in the stillness. Like I said, if you find yourself in a season where you really need to turn everything down and turn within, consider this as a sign that you've outgrown your old life. You've entered a new era and you need to start preparing today to be the woman of your dreams. And sign number 7 is that you are doing the hard things for your future self. You are choosing alignment over approval and discipline over chaos. I know when I wake up in the morning if I'm ready for a hard things day. Something about my spirit just makes me feel like, it's time to get up and get it. These are the days that I pull out my glow up kit. Inside my kit, I'm prioritizing my morning routine, my planners, I'm listening to my podcast, I'm doing my devotion. I know that I'm going to have to be extra grounded because I'm about to challenge myself. When you have outgrown your old self, hard things no longer scare you. You're up for the challenge. You feel prepared for this. This is the fight that you have been waiting for, and you're standing 10 toes down in the ring because you have finally realized that you are worth it. Everything that you have been through has been in preparation for this moment. The setbacks, the failures, the breakup, the heartache has all been a sign that bigger, better things were coming. And so now that they're here, sis, you're ready. You're ready for the challenge. You have all the tools you need to be successful. You found your accountability community. You're tracking your progress and your habits. You understand how much more you're going to have to be in prayer and meditation to get through this test. You've practiced and you're ready. It can feel so alarming when you feel yourself changing. But these 7 signs have more than likely shown up because you're ready, because you've asked for it, because it is time to become the woman that God has intended for you to be. You've played small long enough. You've been the wife, you've been the mother, you've been the provider, you've been the caretaker, you've been dependable, you've been the shoulder to cry on, you've been the one that everyone knows has a solution to every problem, but now it's your turn. And it's going to feel scary, but I can promise you that it's worth it. But just don't forget, God has not given us a spirit of fear. And anything that someone says over 300 times, it must be very important. Outgrowing your old self is not going to be easy, but it is evidence that you are healing. Just promise me that you will not rush the process and that you will not go back to what you've already outgrown. This is the season that you walk away and walk boldly into the woman that God has intended for you to be. I cannot wait to chat with you in the comment section because I want to know which of these signs have you already experienced, or any of the other signs that you've experienced that let you know that you are outgrowing your old self. Sis, I love you, and I pray that you are well and that you're doing something every single day to reach your most ambitious goals.